There is so many opportunities to be great. There's so many opportunities to learn. There's so many resources to gain information. There's so many resources in places where you can gain knowledge. But you mean to tell me we gotta reward the ones who chose not to use these resources and commit the crimes instead?
So a kid go to jail for doing the wrong thing, join the gang or
And jails
whatever.
already had education
Right.
system anyway.
And when he get out of jail, you don't educate him. What's gonna happen to these kids?
Why doesn't he educate himself?
What's gonna happen to this kid after he get out of jail?
If
Is
the
he not
kid,
gonna go right back to
if
being?
the kid doesn't educate himself, right? Why does my tax dollars have to go to educating him?
Wow.
Why? I'm not that kid's father. I got my own problems going on over here. I do. I'm making sure that the kids in my area are good. Okay?
But what if
But
what if you want to go to
and
another area?
what do you mean?
So you just want to stay in that one area your whole life?
What one area? No. What are you talking about?
There's kids all over the place that's getting in
Yeah,
trouble.
man, there's kids all over the place getting in trouble. You're right.
So you would want to just stay in your area to protect the kids in
No.
your community, and that's it?
I can, right,
Mm-hmm.
educate my community to not be criminals, to be morally correct.
So you ain't ever broke a law?
Never said that. We break laws every day.
I'm just saying you never broke a law?
We never. I don't commit felonies though.
Have you ever been in jail?
I'm not robbing people. I don't take my weapon and try to rob people.
Have you ever been in
You know
jail?
what I'm saying? No. No, I never been convicted.
So where do you get this harsh this harsh mentality?
Because if I did commit any small crime or whatever, if I, like, for example, I got my license suspended plenty of times.
right,
You think I went out and did street racing again? Because there was no benefit in me committing these crimes. I went out and got a car. Sometimes I used to steal them, and I used to race them and break them, and then I have no money, and then my license would be suspended. And, it would be,
and so if you got arrested for stealing cars, and they lock you up for 3 years for that,
well, they didn't need to lock me up, but you know what they did do is they took my license, right? In those states, driving is a privilege, apparently.
Right.
I think it's a right.
right?
I'm saying they take that from you. In my situation, if I didn't have my car, I was stuck in my house doing what? I couldn't make no money. My family was broke. They still are broke. So yeah, I learned my lesson because when I look back at it, when I reflected on myself and realized that stealing cars is wrong, racing them is wrong, getting your license suspended doesn't really benefit you. Just you getting brownie points from who? Your peers that are thinking that, you know what I'm saying, they're not growing for this.
But isn't that in itself education?
Yeah,
Learning from your
but that
mistakes.
didn't come from nobody. That was self-taught though. Nobody took their tax dollars and
But
put
you
me
saying
in a program
education?
saying,
But you
listen,
saying education is wasted on kids? But
no,
you
no,
learned
no.
that stealing cars
Education is wasted on criminals,
for criminals,
especially if they're felons, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you talking about people who committed
But
murder?
you basically a felon. You just never got caught for stealing cars.
No, I never got caught for
Is stealing cars a felony?
No, no. It's it's more of a misdemeanor. It's more of a misdemeanor. I know the law.
So no car you stole.
You can't.
No car you stole
you
was
can't-
over $1,500.
Nah, nah. These are pieces of shit, man. The people in these prisons, right, that shouldn't be there are there because of Kamala, right? They shouldn't even be there. There was no crime. She's withheld evidence that would have provided them innocence, and then she wants to take the tax dollars and educate those, right, who did heinous acts in
Okay,
this
I'm
country.
gonna put this in. Cause see, let's say I'm gonna take what you say is 100% true. Let's say Kamala Harris did lock up thousands
Yeah.
of black people,
Yeah, she did, man.
falsified information, withheld information, kept thousands
Yeah,
of
man.
blacks
That happened when she was
in
Attorney General.
jail.
Yep.
Let's say 100% what you're saying is true.
Mhm.
Where are the parents of these children that's seeing Kamala Harris run for president right now? Where's their protests? Where's that demonstrations? Where's the kids that's been released years after? Where's the demonstrations from the kids years after they didn't got out? They should have been. Where they at?
There's mothers. You can look it up. You can go on Instagram. You can look up mothers who are pissed off right? That Kamala's being nominated as president
Pissed off?
when her policies got their
Pissed,
sons
pissed off.
locked up.
That's all they be is pissed off.
I mean, listen, bro. If you're asking for people to rise up like they did for the psyop of George Floyd, I don't think that I think maybe we should. But at the same time, we have an opportunity to not have to really go through that. But I don't see it really going any other way besides bloodshed, which I don't really want. You know what I'm saying?
So you don't want kids, you don't want criminals to be educated, but you want them to be free too?
I know. Who said free? Who said
You
free?
said Kamala Harris locked them up.
Yeah.
And
she locked up people who didn't.
Right,
who
who
were
committed,
innocent.
who
Who were innocent. There was people
so there was no criminal, there's no guilty people she locked up.
up more. I didn't say that, but
She locked up
more innocent
innocent
people.
people.
You know what's funny? She actually was releasing people who did a lot of heinous crimes in California right now.
Oh my God!
In California right now, you can look this up. In California, there's no criminal process against sexual predators. There isn't any.
I just want to focus on this Kamala for 1 second.
She was the attorney general.
She locked up thousands of innocent people.
Yeah.
And then,
There's
as
evidence of
district
that.
attorney, she was releasing criminals.
Well, I don't know about the releasing part, but right now I know she set up a. I don't know if she set it up specifically, but California right now there is a protection to pedophiles.
If Kamala Harris was sitting here right now, you would say the same thing.
Hell yeah, she's a fraud. She's not who she says she is.
That this woman has locked up innocent people.
Yeah, man. You want to talk
and release felons.
Hey, I don't think you do too much research, brother.
Nah, I don't do. I don't.
I
You know what? I'm gonna say this. Let me say this. I tell people when they come to my page, you know, because see, black people, they kill me with this research. But y'all research, but you don't really find nothing.
What do you mean we don't find nothing?
What do you find?
Well,
What if you found? What if black people found with all this research that prompted them to do something better?
I did when I wanted to find things on why I hated Donald Trump and why people hated him. When I realized that the stuff that he was doing was actually benefiting the people.
Like what?
Giving the blue collar people the power and the money, the tax benefits.
The tax benefit. Those tax cuts was for the rich.
Says who? I got tax cuts. I was an employee on a W-2. I got tax cuts.
From Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And they gave you enough money for you to hire employees.
I was an employee.
These tax cuts for the rich was designed for them to save money on taxes, for them to hire employees.
So what's taxes? What
What employees did you hire?
What do you mean? What? I was an employee. I didn't have a business back then. I was only 19 years old.
Right. So how you an employee? How are the tax cuts affecting you?
I was an employee, not
Right.
an employer.
Right. You work for somebody. That's what you're saying.
Right. I got tax cuts.
So how did your?
I was able to use my money, and I used it stupidly. You know what I'm saying? But I was able to actually get somewhere. I can afford living at those times. I was bringing in more money because they wasn't taking it. And plus, what's this big deal on tax anyway? What the fuck they use our tax dollars for anyway? What's constitutional about tax? There's nothing unpatriotic about not paying taxes. It's unpatriotic to pay taxes. Because this constitutional republic country that we live in,
and all these things that Donald Trump gave you, not one of them stayed after he left.
Nah, a lot of people lost.
And you still trying to get this guy back in office.
Hell yeah, bro. Because after he gets back, I'm gonna have 4 years to collect and do everything that I need to do.
And after
to make
those
sure
4 years
after those 4 years, I'm hoping that there's not another person who wants to destroy it.
Okay, well, what about Vance?
JD Vance. So it's mixed. I got mixed feelings about JD. There's things.
Vance ain't gonna continue the MAGA train. You can't see yourself having a Vance hat on 2028?
I don't know him like that. Hold on, listen. Listen, okay?
Do you trust Donald Trump?
I'm not this.
Do you trust Donald Trump?
Yeah, I do.
If Donald Trump say Vance is the
I do. Because just like Jesus died for our sins or whatever, Donald Trump sacrificed his life and he was crucified. Look at what the politics in New York did to him. Look at all the stuff they said about him and all the stuff that they put him through. He's been essentially crucified in a political fashion. He didn't have to go through this
And he rose a lot faster than Jesus Christ too.
because he was exactly.
It didn't take him 3 days to get back up, did it?
No,
Boy,
no.
I don't understand how y'all keep correlating Donald Trump to Jesus Christ.
No,
This is the most immoral person.
What's immoral about him? What did he
He's
do?
a
What did he do to
womanizer. He say he'll grab a woman by the crotch.
I would too. Shit. Hey man, that's just guy talk. That's locker room talk.
And I
Like
agree
said,
with that.
Like I said,
But-
man, there are more moralist things going on the blue side than whatever came out of his mouth, bro. I'm telling you. And your lack of research on it, you know what I'm saying? Like I can sit here and tell you this all the time. You're just be, oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist. Well, you know what? Cool. I'll be a conspiracy
It is a
theorist
conspiracy.
as well as I'll be a, because that's what a lot of people say to try and.
So when Donald Trump
discredit-
called, who was the guy he called in Georgia to try to find those extra votes? Who was that guy that
There's a lot of people, man.
yeah, he was trying to find. Tell myself, just
There's a lot of
say,
people.
just say you recalculated.
Do you know? All right, but did you see what Michigan did, and Minnesota did,
Oh my
and
God.
Massachusetts?
Now, you know I'm from Detroit, right?
You know, so you know what Michigan did.
What did they do?
They've signed the bill saying that you can't make conspiracies or allege that the ballots and the votes will be stolen for this year's election. You didn't see that bill, did you? Was it Michigan that did that, or was it Minnesota? No, it was Michigan. It was
Bruh.
Michigan. They signed that bill. And Minnesota, right? Which the Senate for that is the governor, which is Kamala Harris running me. He
Right.
let Minnesota burn to the ground during that whole Black Lives Matter movement, and then they put Biden in office. What the hell did he do for the community when he got in office?
What did Donald Trump do for the community?
Well, he invested in black schools. He invested in small businesses. He well, not invested, but he gave a lot of benefits to small businesses, whether it was white or black. A lot of black ones actually too. He wasn't too pro 2A Second Amendment, which I was. He actually did a lot of things to ban weapons, and that's the New Yorker in him. But he did a lot of things policy-wise. His foreign policies were great. He ceased firing wars. You know what I'm saying? Even though he bombed that one dude who killed American soldiers, which is good because that guy was breeding terrorists. He got the beef with Korea, squashed. China, squashed. Russia, squashed. He started having NATO pay America versus us paying them while we're the ones protecting them. Oh, you're going to protect us from Russia? Absolutely not. And walked off. Then they laughed him off stage. Bullshit, because the next day they started paying him billions of dollars. They started paying him billions of dollars because they didn't want Russia to invade. He was against NATO. And you know what NATO is?
So-
the NATO is pro-war.
So all the
And
things,
that's why Russia
all
is
the
their enemy,
things,
is because NATO can't exist without an enemy.
all the things that Donald Trump is, and
You can't even tell me one thing that Kamala did besides the fact that she
All
wants
the-
to educate criminals.
all the things and that Donald Trump did in public life as president.
He wasn't a puppet. He's
He-
more of
he
a puppet.
couldn't- he
wa-
couldn't- he
he's
couldn't-
more of a puppet
He
now than he
couldn't
was back in the
do.
days.
He couldn't do in his private life.
What do you mean his private life? No, he can't write policies in his private life. You can only write policies if you're in position of power. You can't write foreign policies. Me and you can't write foreign policies. We're not in that power. We're not in that position.
When the instructor in the school said that if you had 5 jobs in 3 years, you couldn't be qualified to work for PGT.
Yeah, I wouldn't want somebody who wasn't a lawyer either.
You filed bankruptcy 6 times in your private life. Should that stop you from being president of the United States?
No.
You have a felony in your private life. Should that stop you from being president of the United States?
No, man. Nope.
You be okay with having a president of the United States, a felon as a president of the United States?
Well, he's not a felon. He's not a felon. Those charges are misdemeanors. They had to rewrite the statutes of limitations in order to to convict him.
So those are not 34 felonies he's been charged with.
Yeah, man. Did you look at this? You don't even know what the felony. You don't even know what the felonies are, man.
Corporate fraud.
Corporate fraud. What corporate fraud? Okay, that's the label. What are the facts behind the whatchamacallits? Behind the
All I
the
need to
felony?
know, he filed
So you didn't do no research.
34
You didn't-
felonies.
He's got. How does an ex-president of the United States
Right.
have more felonies
Right.
than the most notorious criminal in the world.
Right. And
Al
not go
Capone.
and not go to jail. And not
He
being
had more
and not being jail.
convicted felons
Right.
than Al Capone.
Right. Right.
And you're just saying like, yeah, that's good for him. That's what he deserves because you believe in the system that much. The same system that you say is destroying the black community, you believe that they actually did one thing right and got the white man caught up?
How they got him caught up? He went golfing. He's still going
They
home.
prevented him for at least almost I think a year actually.
How they hold him up?
They prevented him from leaving New York and running the campaign. It was election interference.
If I got a misdemeanor, I don't even have to have a ticket. I can get a warning on my license. It'll stop me from driving for 3 years.
No, it wouldn't.
Donald Trump done got 34 felonies, and he's still running for office, and he ain't got to wait
Those
for
are
nothing.
not felonies, man. Those are misdemeanors. Look up that crime for real. That crime is not a misdemeanor. I'm telling you.
That's why I don't
they
understand
rewrote
all
the
this
statute.
research you said that I'm not doing.
You're not
What
doing it.
what
You're
what
not doing-
research
you're
have
just
you
looking
found?
up
What
if he
research
was
have you
convi-
found?
If he had a
that-
felony and you're just going with the narrative of what they say, but you don't actually look at what the agenda is.
When Joe Biden called him a felon on a debate, did he say I was not a felon? Did Donald Trump say he wasn't a felon?
I don't think that matters. Everybody knows it's not. I don't think that look up the crimes that he so-called did. They fall under a misdemeanor.
Then why
The
was
Supreme Court,
all the major
even-
news,
yeah,
all the
no,
major
yeah.
news stories, even Fox
Yeah, because-
was saying it was
Yeah,
all felony
because Fox
convictions.
is all owned by Jewish Zionist people who want to see the division of the country, and they're against his unity of the country. They don't want the nation to be unified. We'll be too strong and we won't be able to be controlled. He has the power.
So if Donald
of
Trump,
the people.
if Donald Trump is going to make this country what it should have been by now,
Hmm?
why are people trying to stop him from doing that?
I just told you, they don't want people to have the power. They don't want the power of the people. They want to take away our rights. They want to take away our guns. They want to take away our voice. They want to take away everything. Even in the Bible, the right to bear arms and the freedom to say what you want, especially when it comes to religions. The Bible says that. I'm not no Christian person, bro, but everything falls back to Satan wanting to control the most. I'm telling you, man, the agenda that they push, the stuff you see on Hollywood, the stuff that gets promoted, the stuff that... all this leads to a moralist country. And it's destroying us.
And it's become a moralist country 3.5 years after Donald Trump left office.
They haven't.
It corrupted that fast.
Look at the border, man. How is it that immigrants can come in here and get more than the citizens?
They set all that up in 3 years.
Yeah, man. 20 million people. When you open the border and you have an open border policy, no country in the world besides America has an open border policy. And we have more crime than any country in the world. And we are supposed to be the greatest. It has destroyed this country. Venezuela, Honduras, Brazil, they emptied their mental institutions, they emptied their prisons, and they said go to America. And when they got here, they were given health care, food stamps, a car, a license, the rights to vote, while they silenced the American voice.
Wow.
And you gonna sit here and be like, man, that ain't even true, bro. That's just conspiracy. You don't do your research for real, man.
I don't
Maybe
need
I was wrong about you doing research.
I don't need to do research.
Yeah, oh, man.
Because
Yeah, you
see,
do.
if the country is doing exactly what you say they're doing, like I say, that's not a Republican or Democratic issue. That's an accountability issue.
But who the people need to hold
That's
accountable.
right.
But the people.
So what research do I need to do to know that this is accountability? We have a governing system.
It's gonna be hard for you to do
We
it because
have-
you're biased.
No. What
You are
research do I have to do to know that we are living up under a system that's not accountable to its citizens? What research do I have to go do to find that out?
Well,
Simply by you telling me that. Shouldn't I already come to that assumption?
well, since
or that conclusion?
yeah. I mean, I think
Are we living up under?
I think you're
Are
a
we living
biased
up?
individual.
Are we living up under a system that's accountable to its people? Yes or no?
Um, accountable towards people. What do you mean by that?
Do this country take care of American citizens first before it take care of?
Hell no.
Okay, so then we are living up under an unaccountable governing system.
Well, I think that's obvious.
Okay, well then why you deny when I just said that? You said you didn't know what it meant.
Because you keep saying like
I said, is this an accountable system? Yes or no?
I told you no.
Okay.
It's not an honest one.
No. Okay. So that's even worse.
It's not an honest one, and it's a corrupted one.
Okay, you making my argument. So what research do I have to? Did I have to leave out of this chair to discover? If I'm believing everything you say, you did your research, correct?
Well,
Did you come up to my room to lie to me?
You're not gonna. No, I didn't.
Okay.
You're biased, right? And
Biased
that's
how?
fine because you are biased.
How am I biased?
You're biased. You're stuck in this way that
How
white
am
people
I-
need to be over there and black people. You're very biased, right? And I think, right, because you're so biased, that makes you an extreme left. Because you know what I'm saying? No, you are. Because you ignore the problems and then you say, well, prove it. But listen, I live in Massachusetts. That's a sanctuary state. They're giving these rights to people before they give it to us. Like Trump didn't do that. Trump put us first. He put Americans first. You can look this up.
So all the people that Donald Trump left in position after he left out of office, Joe Biden got rid of all of them?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And just open up the borders.
Yeah, dude.
And
yeah.
the
Every
old
time-
senile,
yeah,
dementia-ridden.
Yeah. You can literally look this up. You can just go on Google and look
And his
up
idea to do that was for what?
chaos, man. Chaos.
Just chaos.
Yeah, like what other reasons do we have for doing that?
Chaos is
What is
is
bringing all these criminals? How does that benefit the country?
But these the same criminals that
How does taking my money and giving it to people who wasn't born here? How does that benefit us? How does taking my children out of the schools of New York City so you can have people who don't live here, who just came over the border, benefit my children? Where are they going to get their education if you take them out of my school so you can house these people?
look.
How does it benefit me, right, that they get free health care and I don't? How does it benefit
These
me
migrants,
that I have to put
these migrants,
I have to put down my birth certificate, my social security, and 3 forms of ID, my proof of address, just to get an ID when they can come in and be like, what? Your sanctuary? Here's a license for you. Here's a car. Here's car insurance. Here's health insurance. How does that benefit this country? How? The only jobs that real immigrants get, right, that the Americans don't want to do is like farm work. Like farm work, bro. All right? How does it benefit America to not put the citizens of the country first? How does that benefit us?
It doesn't benefit us.
So how you gonna sit here and say that Trump is this evil person when he was the one that put the country first?
I don't even know when you could actually say he did that.
He did do that. I gave you a lot of things that he actually did.
Well, giving schools giving money to the black schools.
He did a lot more than that. You didn't give me one thing that Biden or Kamala did that benefited this country besides educating those who committed felonies against our own countrymen.
You don't even want to educate criminals so they won't go back to being criminals.
So what else they do though?
Joe Biden,
because I'm already saying no, I don't want to educate criminals. I think there should be harsher punishment. What else did they do?
So Joe Biden lowering the cost of drugs and now all other medications. That's
Trump did that already. Trump did that. The medication wasn't that high. My grandma's a diabetic. She had a whole bunch of medicine. She was in the best health and the best health care in her life when she was in New York. And my grandma's an immigrant. She comes from New York. So she's got a green card.
So you know that was the Obama system that's
the only thing Obama did was that Medicaid system, but he still fucked up.
But then Donald Trump is trying to talk about he's going to undo.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine because his healthcare system was still better. Right?
Well, whose was better?
It was just as good. What was his healthcare system? Do you even know what it was?
Donald Trump's?
Yeah, his healthcare system.
They have not had a healthcare system. They have not had one.
What do you mean?
They've been trying to get rid of Obamacare since Obama left out of office.
Yeah.
And they have not initiated or launched not one health
All
care
right.
plan
Okay.
for the
All right.
country.
So healthcare. All right. What else did they do?
Like I said, he did infrastructure.
Infrastructure. What he infrastructure? What he built? What he created?
Infrastructure. He put
Where?
construction and put fixed roads and bridges across this country.
The union and the construction is down right now. There's nobody working. There's no construction going on.
That's what I said.
I know all these people. I know all these people in construction. There's no work for them.
There's like I said, there's nothing I'm going to be able to say that Joe Biden did
because that's just not true.
You gonna
so
just
okay? So what else? What else you got? What else?
It don't matter.
No, tell me what.
It's
Because,
not gonna,
I want to know what else he did because I'm debunking all your stuff because there's no
How
proof
you-
of
how you
infrastructure going on right
debunking?
now. Nobody can even afford to buy a house, and yet they're building more houses.
Michigan just sold a house in
Michigan don't even have clean water. What are you talking about?
I'm from Michigan,
We
bro.
got clean water in Michigan.
We got the Great Lakes there. We got the most clean water in the country, bro. What are you talking
What is
about?
all that talk about Michigan not having clean water?
That's Flint. You trying to talk
Shit.
about?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
That's Flint.
yeah. What? Yeah, that's true.
That's the lead pipes that, or whatever it was, the pipes that.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That was Flint, Michigan.
Yeah.
You're right.
And that was a Republican who screwed that up,
It was.
Schneider.
Yeah, it was. It was. No, you're right. You're
So, right.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
Right.
But there's still Biden didn't create no infrastructure. Let's go back to the main argument.
Biden did create infrastructure. Donald Trump is the one. You can like I say, you could look it up if you
Okay,
want to.
so what else? What else did he do?
I don't have a list of, like I said, I don't care what this country, I don't care what Biden do, I don't care what Trump do. All I want is black people to have ownership and control over their way of life.
And
It is not black people's business to keep the government that enslaved their people in business.
All right, so listen, going back to the argument then. So how we gonna do that, man? We gonna keep begging people to give us back our rights and give us the money that we need to sustain ourselves, and then what?
If we stop working for them, we can start working for ourselves.
We can do that right now.
Right, we can do that right
But
now.
that's what I've been saying that though. I've been saying we can work for ourselves. I've been saying we can create our own communities. I've been saying we can lead ourselves. I've been saying we can build our own infrastructure. I've been saying that.
But you want to do it with our oppressors.
No. I'm not. I didn't say that. I said we can do it for ourselves. But we also don't have to be divided with them either. I think we can do both. But if we're too busy being divided with each other first,
What
then
research?
nobody we gonna
What
be able to work with.
research
If
have
I
you?
can't even get along with my own brother, what makes anybody think I'm gonna be able to
What
get along with
research
anybody else?
have you? You know, I had these witnesses coming to my house the other day,
I live in it, bro.
and
I live in this delusional world where black people think they're winning when really all they do is victimize themselves. $1.6 trillion and we don't have anything that we own?
ain't that ridiculous? Ain't that ridiculous? Now you say common sense ain't common no more.
It ain't because
Does it
how
make
we got
any-
$1.6
does it-
billion to spend, but we don't own a damn thing.
Because all we do is work and buy and consume.
All right, so why don't we use this education and these resources that we have, that we obtain these skills, and we do it for each other, man? What's stopping us? You gonna go back to that victim inside that we're too scared to build because we're gonna get taken out? I'm just saying, man.
That's the argument that we have all the time.
I'm
As
just
soon
saying.
as I
because
say
they
black
keep
people
going-
build for
because they keep
themselves,
going back to that.
first thing they say that they're not gonna let us do that. You've heard.
Oh, so stay victims, then, brother. I'm gonna just keep saying, listen, stay
Right.
victims, man. Stay victims, because I know that I'm gonna be that truck driver. I'm gonna learn how to weld. I'm gonna do the military stuff. I'm gonna buy me that house. If I gotta learn how to do plumbing, I'll do that stuff too. There ain't nothing stopping these people.
So you're gonna be an infrastructure to your own self. Then you're gonna build your own bridges, build your own roads, build your own
I gotta
home,
I
transport
gotta
your own
learn all
goods
this
and services.
stuff, right? So that way I can lead the right community. And unfortunately, when I try to lead my people to greatness, all they want to do is pull me back to their fucking cesspool. And I'm not with that shit. I refuse to be a victim of this so-called white man's world. I refuse, man. I refuse. And if you want to be this victim, if you want to say that we should just be giving all this stuff,
first of
whether
all,
we have all the resources and education and power to do it ourselves, black plumbers, black truck drivers, black welders, black cooks, black everything. There's no position in infrastructure that a black man don't know, but yet, why don't our communities thrive? we still spend $1.6 trillion going to the white man. And we know this, which is the worst part about it, and yet we just go, man, fuck it. We're not gonna do it for ourselves, man, because then we just gonna be taken out. We're gonna victim. Stay victims, man. Stay victims. I refuse. I ain't gonna be no victim, man. If I got the power to get me somewhere, I dare anybody, regardless of your skin color, to try and stop me. I'm relentless, and I'm like a freight train. And let me tell you something. Don't nobody want to stand in the way of somebody who's truly relentless. And if the black community got together and showed their relentlessness, everybody would move the fuck out the way.
What time are you supposed to be in class tomorrow?
I don't know, brother, but we've been talking for quite some time, bro.
I appreciate it, though.
Yeah, you know? What time is it? I can't see the time. I'm pretty sure my phone about to die too.
Oh, shoot, it's 11 o'clock.
Oh, shit.